Welcome to another episode of Shine the Light, and today's guest is Lisa Townsend. Her company is F&E Handmade. Say hello to Lisa. Hey, Lisa, what's up?
Nice, thank you. Thanks again
Um,
for
we're,
having me. Yeah, happy to be
yeah,
here.
we're really psyched to have you. And just like I just said, I'm loving the backdrop, looking good.
Thank you.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I live in Quincy. I'm a mom of two now teenage kids. I work at Mass General as a nurse practitioner and had started F&E Handmade as a side thing that I started with my kids, really because my son and my husband have skin allergies, and it was hard to find all natural soap that didn't have fragrance in it and things like that. And so really that's what prompted me to do that. I've always been kind of crafty and like to make things. And so usually, I think my kids laugh. I'll say, well, if we can't find it, let's try and make it. And so that is kind of what prompted the soap starting and the soap making.
That's awesome. So how did you come about finding out that the rashes were caused from fragrances and stuff like that, or conditions that were happening? How'd that happen?
So I think maybe because I have a bit of a medical background, it was just something I assumed, and I know from treating patients that I take care of that eczema and allergies can be caused by other environmental factors like and whatnot. And so for me, it really started as, let's start with something like a product that's really basic with minimal ingredients that are all natural, and see if that.
That's awesome. So in the background, we have HeartShaped Soap, and are those pictures of your soap?
Yeah, that is my soap that I made. That is made with all natural ingredients, and I use. So the green ones are made with chlorella powder for the color, and chlorella is kind of like a it's an antioxidant kind of an ingredient. It's one of those super greens that people tend to put in their smoothies. But for soap making and for natural soap making, it's a process to kind of figure out what colors will stay and the type of soap process that I use, which I can talk a little bit about too if you'd like.
Yeah, no, I'm interested in that, and I'm interested in. Do you have like a workshop at your home, because you're making this at home, correct?
I am, yeah. So I make it out of my my basement. We have a nice little space in the basement where I have all my ingredients and is kind of solely dedicated to soap making and some of the other products that I make.
So
Yeah.
how long has F&E Handmade been in business?
So this started in 2018. And I started at that time. I had a friend who had two friends of mine who had a small studio that kind of catered to children's yoga and occupational therapy. And they were kind enough to let me sell a couple of my things there. And it kind of just bloomed a little bit from there. And after that, I had started selling at some local markets, a couple of, kind of pop-up shops, and then through my website.
Cool. Is there local spots in Quincy that you sell your goods?
So there's not right now. Right now, a lot of it is through the website. I've met a lot of people through kind of recurring winter fairs that I've done, and unfortunately have not been able to get to the summer fairs. But that's a lot of the way I've gotten my name out is through those markets. I had done a couple of, I had sold a bit at SOA Market in Boston, and then a lot of South Shore markets as well.
Oh, that's awesome. So how would people find you right now? What's your website?
So it's www.f and e and spelled out handmade.com. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. And those are the best ways really to get a hold of me. A lot of people will just reach out and say, hey, do you make this? Or what's in this product? And I saw this on your website. And I'm happy to kind of chat with them a little bit and see if they have, aversions towards certain things. And if there's something that I can make for them, I'm happy to do that.
Well, I read about you that you this is fulfilling a creative spark that you got inside of you. How is it that you found yourself into this, and what other creative past things did you do that led you into some, even having this
Yeah.
world open to you?
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So in my on my bio on my website, I've always liked working with my hands. I've always, I like to knit, I like to sew, I like to do kind of those homesteading kind of things. I like to make bread. I like those kind of things. And so for me, it was just a natural thing to try in terms of crafting. And it was just something that my kids, something that I could do with my kids, that they could be a part of. And in terms of that, it had those kind of crafts and those kind of hobbies have always been in my life.
Mhm.
And I think that it was just a natural springboard of some of the other things that I always like to do. And it's funny because now when I talk to some of my friends who I've grown up with or have known for a long time, they always say, "Oh yeah, I remember you made lip balm one year and you gave it to all of us for Christmas," or um, you know, some sort of homemade body care product that I used to make. And so I think it's always really been in my life, creating things like that or making gifts like that. And so I think that was just a natural springboard from some of the other crafty things that I like to do.
Did you grow up doing stuff like this, like with
And
your parents or siblings? Did they do stuff like
I
that?
did. It was myself and my grandmother was a seamstress in the Philippines, and I learned a lot of sewing from her. And so a lot of her kind of basic attitude towards, you know what, let's just try and make it if we don't have it. Let's see what we have around that we have already in the house, and let's see if we can make it into something that we would use or that we're looking for before we say go out and buy it or search for it.
Mm,
And so I think that philosophy has always been part of what I grew up with.
mm. So I guess that would make sense, because to, look at something that's affecting your family and trying to do, I guess come up with an alternative, you have to be pretty resourceful. And I'm sure, it took a little while to kind of perfect what you wanted to put out there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I think in terms of it just felt intuitive to me to try and create something that would be good for my family and good for, if my family is kind of thinking about something like that, my sense was that maybe other families would be kind of curious and looking for something like that as well.
Oh, sure. Do you have any besides your epic backdrop there? Do you have any physical pieces of your work on you right in front of you?
I apologize that I don't right now. I'm not in my workshop at this moment, and so I apologize that I don't have any physical pieces. But I do have a lot of pictures on my social media site, and a lot of things like that. And at the markets that I do participate in, I definitely have samples out, and people. I always encourage people to pick up the soap and smell it, or try some of the products that are there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know other people that we have worked with, and it's that have done the SOA market, and there's just a lot of Quincy people that are doing really cool stuff. So it's really cool to hear that you're have been resourceful and found your way to do something that I guess provide you some joy, but also, I don't know, if you're doing something cool, you're doing something nice for your family. So that has to feel rewarding.
Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah. I think I've always needed a bit of a creative outlet and something to work with my hands. And I have definitely found a way to channel that through this. My daughter, who's 12 now, um, you know, she comes with me to the markets that I go to, and she helps me. She's got her own creative mind and helps me kind of set up the display. And I think that is very meaningful to me to have her with me.
Mm. Is there any interesting stories that you can tell about what has gone on in the process, or any? Do people ever ask you to make certain types of soaps for them, or just
Yeah,
something that
sure.
happened along the way?
Sure, sure. Yeah. So I think I really try and keep all of my products, especially the soaps, made with natural ingredients, essential oils, kind of the organic oils that I use, and even the coloring that I use is, either natural powders. And I think a lot of people will say, "Oh, can you make a candy cane one, or can you make something that I think would be really challenging to make with just natural ingredients."
Mm,
Because I think a lot of the soaps that are other soaps that are handmade, which are gorgeous, don't focus just on that natural piece. And so to me, that's an important part of my philosophy and when it comes to what I'm selling and what I'm making. And
mm,
so I think in terms of answering that question, and I think a lot of people say, "Oh, this is might not smell as strongly as, say, another type of handmade soap," and a lot of that has to do with a my preference, but also b the essential oils that I use, and keeping it natural that way.
mm. Um, so, what are your plans for the future with this?
Yeah. So I would love to make it more of a product that is, known around Quincy and locally. I think I'd love for it um, to become something that is really part of the community. In terms of this has been a great thing for me to do. I like many people, this is a bit of a side gig for me. I work full time as a nurse practitioner, and so in terms of trying to keep up with, um, there's an ebb and flow to how the business runs because of that. And I think what my main goal is really to have the name known and the products known, and kind of um, be a part of the community. If you meet people now who are in Quincy and say, "Oh my gosh, I bought something from you. That's you. You're the soap person, or you're the soap lady. That's wonderful. I tried your whatever it is and I loved it." And so that is really kind of a great joy for me. Um, and I'd love for that to be more so.
You said something that's interesting to me. I mean, it's all interesting, but personally, so my mother is a nurse,
Oh, is that right?
and she's also a major sewer.
Yeah.
She hasn't made any soap, but she sews, I don't even know, hundreds of quilts, like a
Yeah.
lot.
Oh, yeah. That's beautiful.
But you said you grew up sewing, and you're a nurse. My mother was a nurse at the VA for a long time, but
Yeah.
I think there's something about there's a nurturing nature to making something by hand, and
Absolutely.
having people accept that as either your art or a gift, or
Yeah.
something, because it's caring. So it's interesting that you know a big part of your life is caring for other people too, being a nurse.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I think I know a lot of nurses who like to work with their hands. That's a little bit part of the profession, but that kind of crafty creative side. I think there's a big piece of nursing that is creative,
Mm,
and so I think to be able to kind of carry that over to a different craft is, I think, a great thing.
yeah, pretty interesting. Where do you practice your nursing?
I work at Mass General in Boston.
Oh. So just given a platform like that as an artist, you're putting out an art and you're in a world like that. Do you push yourself at work at all?
Absolutely.
You do? All right. I don't know how you do that.
um, push myself in terms of
So
artistically or
you called yourself the soap lady. So let me,
oh that
yeah.
oh I understand. No, honestly, it took me a long time to even say to people when I was selling soap that I was a nurse practitioner, because I
Oh
think
gosh.
it's I think for me I was concerned if there was like a conflict of interest or if that might have been somewhat of a concern. Now I realize that it's probably um, a good thing for people to know that I work in healthcare and have some intuition regarding those kind of things. But yeah, no, I don't often talk about my soap making.
Yeah, I don't think that would be, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't see that as being a conflict of interest. I see it as like pairing well with what you do. So if you were to go into the gift shop, you would have some of your soaps there.
Yes, yes.
And I don't know. I'm not trying to.
No,
I'm
I
just.
love
I'm
that.
just.
That's
I mean,
great.
I think one of the cool things about. I mean, I'm an artist myself, but one of the cool things about being in or the whole Quincy Urban Arts District is about connecting,
Hmm.
learning from each other, sharing, and trying to help promote each other. And I'm listening to your story and trying to understand how to get your cool product in more hands and have your. That's why we're here to tell your
Yeah,
story,
thank
push
you.
it out. So we have our page called Quad Connect, which
Yep.
is an avenue to really connect artists and help build each other up
Yeah.
and find some sustainable cool avenues within the fabric that we have. But I listened to your story and it almost seems like you have the perfect um, platform to push what you do without being pushy because you're just there.
Yeah, yes. I think so. I think one of the biggest challenges for me is to I think a lot of my products I love to kind of talk about them and tell you why I think it's great, right? And so I think that tends to be a little bit challenging um if if I'm not allowed that kind of platform to say, hey, I think this balm is wonderful because it works great on eczema. Do you know what I mean? Or um, this soap, this soap, because it's all natural and uses these kind of mild ingredients, can be really great for skin that's sensitive. So those kind of things. And I think in terms of saying those things, because I think I'm medical, I tend to say, okay, well, where is my kind of deep research? And I think that's the reason why I stay away from or kind of separate those two worlds.
Another area that I'm just thinking it'd be good to break into would be a place like what is that spa, the Mirabelle,
Yeah.
Mirabelle.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you had little packages down there and just saw how it went over or something like that, that could be an interesting way to parlay your stuff. But I really like the idea of soaps and um, your background as to why it started, and it's cool. I like when people have something that is the catalyst is coming from the heart. It makes it more pure. So your story's cool.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, um I would love to get my products into local businesses and have it be more known around the area. I think that would be a great goal for me to have. Sure.
Well, I know we're planning on doing a Quad Connect get together. We'd love
Great.
to have you there and meet you, and maybe you can bring in some stuff and
Yeah.
sell it or talk about it or whatever you want to do. And yeah, I'm excited for you. It's a cool thing, and
Yeah.
I'm wondering. I just keep looking at these soaps behind you. I
Yeah.
just I love it, but I'm like, what do you have like a certain soap that you kind of feel like was your home run in making
Yeah.
the combination? What would that be?
Yeah. So I have a soap called Storm Soap, which
What's it
is
called?
it's called
Storm?
Storm,
Oh,
is the name of the soap. It's and so that's made with activated charcoal and um, tea tree oil, which is great as a facial soap. But that soap I have a hard time keeping in stock. Everybody says, where is your Storm Soap? Are you out of Storm Soap? I need more of it. It's great because it's gentle, yet it helps you kind of fight acne and keep your face clear, but it's not at all stripping to your skin.
not stripping.
Yeah, yeah. So it doesn't
What,
dry
what?
out your skin,
Okay.
cleanses, but doesn't dry your skin out like a lot of manufactured soaps.
Hmm, interesting. So, are you finding for all types of skins these
Yeah,
are helpful?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So um, the difference between soaps that are made in high production is that they put chemicals in it that really strip your skin. And so when you kind of dry out your skin and you strip those natural oils, um, a lot of irritation can happen, but so can acne and other things like that. And so the soap that I make doesn't do that. Doesn't strip your natural oils, doesn't unbalance the oil production that your body naturally makes, and that's what most natural cold process soaps do. And so it's just from that piece alone. And I think when I started making soaps, that was the reason why I was like, oh, I want to try making this because that's very sensible to me. You know, that makes a lot of sense to me. And so this is kind of an all skin type. Most of my soaps are all skin types, and could benefit really uh, everyone's skin.
Hmm. I'm interested in this one that you're particularly talking about now for my family.
Yeah, I'll
So
bring you a sample.
all right, so we'll have to link up, but
Definitely.
I'm really happy to get to know you and learn about your product, and happy to
Yeah,
welcome you into the quad world.
that's
And
great.
everybody check out F&E Handmade. This is Lisa Townsend. Really appreciate you getting together with us, and
You.
big props on the backdrop. I love it. Um, but you were a pleasure to talk to, and yeah, we're looking forward to meeting you. And reach out anytime if you have any questions or thoughts, or if you're like, this could be helpful to me or to other people. I mean, our goal is to be a community and help each other out. So
That's
would
wonderful.
love to hear what you think.
That's wonderful. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I love Quincy. I think I've been here for 21 years and love living here, love raising a family here. It's a great place.
Yeah, it's cool, and I feel like it's only growing and getting it's a great spot. So we're psyched to be here and to be working with everybody and trying to grow some nice little family.
Great. Great. Thank you so much. This was wonderful.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to trying out that soap, and
Definitely.
we
I will
will.
find a way to get you some.
Well, I'll reach out to you.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nice to chat with you. Thank you. Bye bye.
You too. Cheers.